Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to take a look at the differences between grants and fundraising. These are terms that are commonly used in the nonprofit sector, and it's important to have a clear understanding of what they mean. They're not interchangeable. So with that, let's dive directly into the video. If you lead a nonprofit or you work in a nonprofit, you've been in a meeting where someone asks the big scary question. So who's going to get us the money? Well, the first thing is to make sure we have the semantics down. When someone says, who's going to get us the money? We might say Jack or Jill is going to go get it. And we don't clarify whether this is going to be a grant application or whether it's going to be fundraising from individuals, small businesses, networks, etc. Now, the term fundraising in business outside of nonprofits is often viewed as any channel to raise money. That includes loans, venture capital, equity sales, etc. But that's not the case in the nonprofit sector, and it's worth knowing this. So let's take a look at grants and fundraising a little closer. You should think about grants like applying to a university. It's a formal, technical process involving detailed applications and proving your case on paper to a committee that you may never meet. On the other hand, if you have individual fundraising, it's like building a friendship. It's a relational process built on conversations, personal connections, and finding people who share your passion. So these are the key concepts between these two different approaches. Now let's take a deeper dive into grants. When you are writing a grant, you're a lawyer making a case. Your audience is a committee of reviewers. They want evidence, a solid plan, and a bulletproof budget. It's a slow, formal process with very specific rules. Now, I said it's like a lawyer. You don't have to be a lawyer to do this. If you're a good grant writer, you know what to do. The goal is to prove a compelling case on paper, keeping in mind that the audience are program officers, committees, and foundations, and the core skill is persuasive evidence-based writing, and it's formal, and you may never see them. Looking at fundraising, think about it as a storyteller. You're inviting people to become a hero in a story on a topic that they already care about. Your audience is a person with passions and values. This process is ongoing and built on trust and human connection. So the goal is to build a relationship and invite partnership. The audience would be individuals, families, community members, including businesses in your community. The core skill is authentic storytelling and listening, and the key word is relational. So these two worlds are not completely separate. They overlap in some areas, and they both require these skills: a powerful mission and story, a clear and realistic budget, and the art of the thank you. These are topics that are covered in a number of other earlier videos. So grants are formal proposals and strict reporting, fundraising as personal appeals and meetings. So if you're on path A, you follow the grant processes. If you're on path B, you follow the fundraising processes. So if you're tagged in a fundraising role, it's important to understand whether you're raising funds through grants, in which case you've got to identify sources and follow a process, or whether you are fundraising on a personal level. This distinction is really important. There are a couple of books out there that make for easy reading if you're unfamiliar with this topic and want to learn a little bit more about it. The first is Grants Made Simple. This is focused on grants, grant writing, sources, etc. The second is The Accidental Fundraiser. This is where you're touching individuals, community members, etc., to raise funds. Now, keep in mind that at the end of the day, whichever role you play, you're not a salesperson, you're a storyteller. And it's not an ask, but rather an invitation. It's a matchmaking exercise. And in closing, if you're assigned to one of these roles, it's important to understand whether you'll be writing grants or whether you'll be fundraising. And then you can pursue the channels to learn more about how to do that. And keep in mind that it's always the invitation. And if you do it right, it won't seem like begging. It'll be like asking people to join you on a matchmaking exercise. If you have any questions, please comment below and I'll try to get to all of those as quickly as I can. Thank you so much for watching.